Welcome to Dementia-Friendly Prince George's County, Maryland Northern Sector webinar series for caregivers. Today's topic is Dementia and Home Safety Issues, sponsored by Prince George's County Government and the Department of Family Services.
It's indeed a pleasure to be with you this evening to talk about a subject that's near and dear to me, dementia. This is one of a series of presentations that my company offers, but tonight, as Crystal said, we're going to be talking about dementia and home safety, and so I'll get right into it. Today's agenda, we're going to talk about the safety risks that elders have in the home, the impact of dementia on home safety risk, 4 common safety risks and ways to reduce them, home safety tips, and talk about a home safety inspection, and talk about a term that's near and dear to us in my company, dementia-wise. Elder safety risk in the home. As you can imagine, all kinds of things are going to happen at home as we age. So adults age 65 and plus have the highest risk of severity of injury due to home injuries. Most common injury sites, most common places is the bedroom and the living room where people spend most of their time. And the most serious injury sites, as we all could imagine, where there's slippery floors or, appliances in the kitchen, as well as the stairs. Home safety risk for elders. We know that falls happen. We don't talk about burns very much. We probably talk about poisoning less. And then we talk about hypothermia and hyperthermia for people that have sensitivity to hot and cold. There can be other dangers in the home, and the risks vary by individual. Some reasons why home safety risks increase with age. As we all have seen with our loved ones, they have a decrease in mobility. We don't have the muscle mass that we used to have. We have less physical resiliency, slow response time, as well as difficulty multitasking. And of course, we have those all too well-known health issues. And after going through COVID, many of us have either experienced it or know very well what those are. And our inability to pay for home repairs, because we know many of us are living on fixed incomes, so it's kind of difficult to pay for home repairs and modifications. The impact of dementia on home safety risk. Ways dementia increases home safety risk. Home safety risk for someone with dementia include all elder risks plus more. These risks may be different for risks due primarily to age, be worse as a result of dementia, require different safety situations. Ways dementia increases home safety risk. Decreased judgment and planning skills, confusion, inability to follow directions, balance and coordination challenges, significant changes in sensory processing, and a loss in normal safety awareness, problem-solving abilities, and mental mapping abilities. 4 common safety risks and ways to reduce them. One size does not fit all. That not each dementia is like the other dementias because there are 6. The risk can vary by home and individual, be unique and unusual, and obviously solutions should be adapted to the situation, and we should always have respect for the elder's life, history, and preferences, which is a big, big issue. So number 1, falls and dementia. Falls are most common injury in any elder's home. Dementia can increase these risks by visual processing changes. In many cases, for some people can lose half of the visual field. Loss of movement mechanics, deterioration of gross and fine motor control, and changes in gait. We've seen many people as they age seem to just shuffle around, and that's all a part of it. Ways to reduce falls. It's not intuitively obvious that increasing a light in the home is very important to somebody with Alzheimer's/dementia. We ought to keep passageways clear. We need to get a medical assessment whether when a person can't transfer or ambulate unattended. We need to bring the assistive devices to an individual if they have them, because they should be using those. And we should be providing hands-on or standby assistance as necessary. Standby means exactly what it says. You can stand by when folks are trying to transfer or ambulate on their own. And the other key point is we need to have color contrast. With visual acuity challenges, people also have color challenges with their vision. So we need to make sure there's color contrast. So keep in mind, someone with dementia may forget to turn on a light. As my daughter tells me all the time, Dad, why are you sitting in the dark trying to do the crossword puzzle? It happens. It's not helpful to scold or criticize about a shuffling walk, stoop posture, or lack of a walker or cane. It doesn't solve anything when you look at all the challenges with dementia to be able to try to correct or to scold someone. Number two, burns and dementia. Well, many of us, if we're not paying attention, any of these potential hazards could be hazardous to our health. Okay, and hopefully we don't know many elderly that are either still smoking cigarettes or grilling outdoors by themselves. The environmental threats. The environment in the home is very important. So there are some things that may be invisible, so we need to be taking a look at those. People with dementia lose the ability to foresee potential problems, make appropriate responses, as well as interpret pain appropriately. And one other thing I'd like to add is, with dementia, folks feel very uninhibited to do anything that their mind tells them they can do. So, ways to reduce burns. The obvious, lock things up when you can. If there's space heaters in the home, please remove them. And obviously, only allow smoking under constant supervision. So you don't want dangerous or hazardous things to happen when folks are home alone. Also, keep in mind, provide close supervision for cooking. Forbid cooking only if absolutely necessary. Folks have got to eat, so we can make sure arrangements are made that people are cooking with supervision. Remember to keep flammables locked up and out of reach, and don't rely on a microwave to solve cooking problems. It can cause fires as well. Poisoning. Poisoning, you ask? Look at some of the things that are on this list. Medicines, household cleaners, spoiled food. People leave food in the refrigerator for days on end, and those can be a hazard to one's health. House plants can be a problem, hobby supplies, and various products stored in the basement or garage. Dangers are increased due to deterioration of judgment and rational thinking, decreased sense of time and or place, inability to follow directions, and confusion over name and use of objects. Ways to reduce poisoning. Develop and consistently use a system to reduce double doses of medication. We probably all have heard stories of loved ones or the elderly taking more medications than they need to, or they're taking 2 days of medications as opposed to 1. So you have to set up a system so only fresh, unexpired food is in the home, as well as making sure you have the right setup for all the medications. You have to examine all the hobby supplies. It's a great thing when folks are doing all kinds of art or other home hobby projects, but when it gets to a point where it becomes unsafe for them, we have to take action. Also keep in mind that household cleaners or garden or auto supplies ought to be locked up. Again, do not scold or shame anyone, because that's not very productive. Their inability to follow directions, they're going to hold spoiling food, and they're going to not be able to organize their medications. Hypothermia and hyperthermia. Those things are challenging. And I remember when I first started this business, there were stories about people getting in the shower and they were talking about it was too hot. And when the caregiver would feel the water, it was either lukewarm or cold. Their sensation of hot and cold changes. So we have to be very, very attuned to that. It does not require extreme temperatures for hypothermia or hyperthermia to occur. Older adults are often a bit hydrated, which increases the risk. Hypothermia and dementia. Risks are greater for people with dementia who have lost the ability to understand and interpret their body sensations, as I just alluded to, with someone getting in the shower and they thought the water was cold or that the water hurt, and which we know that was not true, but it was their sensation, so we have to pay attention to that. They are no longer able to find solutions for their discomfort, and they have language disabilities that make it very hard to communicate. Ways to reduce hypothermia and hyperthermia. Give small amounts of liquids, hot and cold throughout the day. They have to remain hydrated. Check the weather forecast together and give the person 2 good clothing options. As one of the standard refrains you'll see is decision-making abilities are not going to be there, so you're going to give a person with dementia choices. Don't give them any more than 2. Be aware of their temperature tendencies and understand their needs. So you have to know what their history is and what their preferences are. And as always, as alluded to before, lock, move, or disguise thermostat. Keep in mind, someone with dementia may not be able to figure out appropriate clothing for the temperature. Use helpful hints and comments to guide their choices. Part of the helpful hints for some is to make sure you put the clothing in the order that you would like them to put it on. Don't just put it out in one bundle, but you put it accessible to them in the order you would like them to be wearing it. And do not allow the person to control the thermostat, as we just said. There comes a time when it's very important to note that people with dementia cannot be left alone. And you can imagine the safety risks of doing something like that. People with dementia must have more supervision, including 24/7 care on occasion, which can be very trying for a family because that can become very inconvenient and very costly. Caregivers must change how they care for a person with dementia due to the nature of the disabilities caused by all of these diseases. Home safety tips. Assess your home. It's a very good idea to go around and make sure that there are things like trip hazards that are around or things in the way of the walking passageways. Be prepared for emergencies. Make sure safety devices are in working order. Use color contrast as where applicable, as we alluded to earlier. Secure medications and keep walking areas free of trip hazards. We must make sure that any person with dementia, as well as any elderly person, retain their dignity while improving safety. People with dementia need to feel respected and control of their lives. Whether they're a baby or whether at the end of their life, folks want to be in control, and a person with dementia is no different. You can help them make good decisions, as we alluded to earlier. Give them no more than 2 choices. Make both options safer choices and limit the details to prevent confusion. Again, retaining detail while improving safety. Use emotional statements to persuade, like, Mom, I love you. We need to make the house safer. Dad, I'm afraid someone would get hurt and you'll get sued. The insurance company insists we make this change. And it's important, and that's why it's out there by itself. Do not argue, criticize, debate, or try to convince with logic, because we're already talking about their ability to make decisions or to rationalize things has been impaired. Question: does a person with dementia need to agree? When they can, absolutely. Safety changes can be stopped by the person's refusal. No one can force safety on someone who is still competent. In many instances, older adults may be in unsafe situations, yet have no guardian or conservator to help protect them. We have to guard against that situation. Some solutions. To achieve safety changes, families can use persuasion to encourage safe choices, enlist support from others, such as obviously the PCM, the primary care physician, or PCP, friends or clergy, or other friends in the neighborhood. Seek resources to create a safe environment. Customize changes to fit the needs and preferences of the one that's being cared for. And take steps to attain guardianship if necessary. Now, I'll turn it back over to Crystal, and she has a few more remarks about Dementia-Friendly America. Crystal?
Thank you, Cary. Dementia-Friendly America, Northern Prince George's County sector, brought this evening's program to the audience today. Cary, next slide. I want to tell you a little bit about Dementia Friendly. Dementia Friendly was an initiative that was founded through the White House Conference on Aging, and Prince George's County was one of the first sectors to create Dementia Friendly in the state of Maryland. Founded by the county executive at the time, Rashern Baker, Prince George's County decided to separate the county into 3 sectors: Northern, Southern, and Mid-County. And today, Northern sector provides virtual support groups. We offer a caregiver support group and a social distancing support group in response to COVID-19. We have a monthly newsletter that includes upcoming resources, our dementia-friendly updates, and free offerings to the community. And then, of course, we have Dementia Friendly America's YouTube channel, which just debuted this month. We're really excited. All of our webinar series videos and some upcoming exciting new topics are offered on our YouTube channel. If you're interested in joining our support groups or any of our programs, please contact Sharon Johnson. In addition, we've added some additional resources that you may find valuable. Of course, we have the Prince George's County, Maryland Area Agency on Aging, our community partners through the local agencies on aging, which is the AAA. Their website is there. The National Institute of Health, the National Institute of Aging at NIH, and of course, clinical trials that are currently being conducted at NIH. And then, of course, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention offer a wide array of resources. But what is really exciting is our free caregiver webinar series continues with Masterful Moves next Thursday, June 18th. And the topic is dementia and the aging ear. And we will have a panel that evening featuring presenters from Jacobs Audiology, Bird & Bird Attorneys at Law. We have a representative from Dementia Friendly, and of course, Visiting Angels. We're really excited about this opportunity and hope you join us for that event. On behalf of Dementia Friendly Prince George's County, Northern Sector, we'd like to thank you for joining our broadcast this evening.